Hi guys, this is the second part of your mixtures lab. So we separated the suspension, the chalk and the water with the filter, but we weren't able to do that with the salt and water because it was a solution. So a lot of you made some good, had some good ideas on how you can separate that and recover the salt. Here's the apparatus that we use for the second part in order to separate a solution and recover both parts of the mixture. You can use distillation. So here is the distillation apparatus that I set up, and I got it going so that we can see what's actually happening and not have to wait for it to boil. So the first thing I did was I poured the salt and water solution in the Erlenmeyer flask. And I put some boiling chips in there to make sure that it didn't superheat, just some calcium carbonate chips because they bounce around and make sure that it's bubbling so we get the evaporation happening. So distillation can be used in, like we watched in the video, in refining crude oil, so you get your more pure gasoline or other fuel. You could use it to distill and purify water, right? So it's a process of boiling a mixture, and one part of the mixture will evaporate before the other. So if you could capture that evaporation, that vaporized gas, right, through this tube here, you could collect it on this side, because as the gas hits the test tube, you can see it's condensing back into a liquid, right? So I made a new mixture, sodium chloride and water, poured it into the flask, and now this is our apparatus, right? So you can see that it's boiling, right? And you get it causing some evaporation or vaporizing of one of the substance. So that becomes a gas. The gas rises through the glass test tube. Right? It's a vapor. You can see it condenses a little bit when it hits that glass, but some of the vapor gets through, goes through the tubing, and then it hits the test tube and it condenses back, and you can see the liquid collecting in the bottom of the test tube. All right, so in the end, you're going to comment on your residue, which is what's left behind when you're separating the mixture in the flask, and your distillate, which is what evaporates out of the mixture. So your distillate is going to be in here, you can see, right down there. Don't touch the test tube because it's hot. So that's your distillate, and then I finished the process so that we can just look at the result. Here is our residue in the flask. So you can see kind of jumped up, so anything that kind of stuck to the sides of the flask, right, you could scrape it out. It's like, right, here's your residue that's in the flask. So you would describe that. And that's how you can separate two parts of a solution.